Most people who own whole life insurance never realize its full potential because they never move past stage 2 of whole life insurance ownership. I'm Kyle, and I believe every single one of us was called to live a very intentional life. And I'm simply a guide that helps people build financial systems around banking, tough money habits, and generational wealth. And in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through the 4 stages of whole life insurance ownership and how everyone typically starts in the saver stage, and not everyone progresses to the highest level of whole life insurance ownership, which I would call the infinite banker. And so hopefully on today's video too, we're going to make the difference between someone that's implementing infinite banking versus someone that just uses whole life insurance as a wealth building tool. So let's dive right into this. Most people that buy life insurance are starting off in this, what we call the saver stage. The mentality of someone buying life insurance at a stage 1 is they see a need for life insurance protection, and they want an improved efficiency for their savings environment. So let me put it to you this way. Objectively, I think 100% of Americans could benefit from owning whole life insurance as a foundational asset, because whole life insurance is the only foundational asset that comes with 8 benefits that you will not find in any other singular asset. And so when you have the education, you're becoming more aware of your money. You're seeing these benefits of whole life insurance. Naturally, you want to store a portion of your savings into this asset. And so we're really looking at this two ways. I need to put my emergency fund somewhere. I need to save more money. I need to improve the efficiency of my cash position. And I see the need for life insurance protection. Now, I absolutely believe every American could benefit from owning whole life insurance, because every American needs a more efficient place to store their cash. Commercial banks just are not willing to give us the benefits that we deserve from leaving so much cash with them. And every single American is going to pass away. You have a 100% chance of passing away. It's just a matter of when. We can solve both of those problems permanently by just placing whole life insurance at your foundation. And what's really happening here from a wealth building perspective is, once you understand the permanent benefits of whole life insurance, meaning not only can you have the permanent death benefit in place for your entire life, that'll be there not if, but when that event happens of you passing away. So there's some type of legacy left for the family. You also can permanently control some of the savings that you're paying in the form of premium. Now, what we're looking at here is called a max potential calculator. Everything in red is dollars that flow out of your hands permanently due to taxes, debt payments, lifestyle. The portion in green is what you're actually going to hold on to permanently, assuming this individual is saving close to 5% of their income, which is what most Americans are doing, is saving 5% of their income. And so if you had to understand visually what's happening in a financial situation for the saver, this is what's going on. Now, let's contrast that now to stage 2. After someone owns whole life insurance, they're starting to store up some capital there, some money. Now they move into, hey, I've got this cash value built up. I should start using this policy as part of my wealth building strategy. We call this the wealth builder. Now, there's a big difference between owning life insurance and using life insurance as part of your debt strategy or investing strategy. This is where it's imperative that you have the right guide that can show you the proper mechanics and how to use the loan feature, withdrawals, whatever you want to do with your policy. You need the right guide to help you use this as part of your wealth building strategy. And what you'll notice here on the financial pyramid on the left, these are our key components of wealth building. Whole life insurance ownership is about control. It has nothing to do with investing. What we're trying to do is we're trying to be more efficient and control more of the dollars flowing through our hands. In this case, the wealth builder is doing the same foundational things the saver's doing. They're just adding on efficiency of their debt strategy and efficiency of their investment strategy, utilizing life insurance. And typically in this stage, now we're starting to accelerate wealth because we have the foundation built. And now you're going to start playing this game as you grow between this ideal balance sheet ratio of how much money do I keep liquid and safe, and how much money do I accelerate and leverage to get higher rates of return. And this becomes a constant game that you're going to want to get onto our Tough Money frameworks. You have exactly the worksheets on when to deploy capital versus when to stay highly liquid. And so if we had to visually see the wealth builder from a monetary view, it's going to look similar to the saver. It's just a little bit more drastic. We're controlling more of the debt, more of the investing. We're probably increasing the amount of money we're saving as well. So in this case, now we're saving closer to 10%. The wealth builders are going to have a little bit stronger money habits than the saver, and they're going to start using the policy more intentionally. Now, this is where most people stop progressing inside of the ownership of whole life. To go to the third stage, what we call the business banker. When this happens, this takes quite a bit of intentionality. And you do not accidentally become the business banker. Typically here we have someone that owns a system of policies, not just one or two at this point, but they have a system of policies, and they've got those policies integrated into a lot of components of their wealth building plan. It's part of their asset protection, their trusts, they've got all the insurances dialed in, it's a major part of their investment strategy. They have a lot of their cash flow management is running through the policies. And at this time, we understand that the more money we can flow through our system of policies, thinking like a banker, the more of those dollars we control permanently in our life. And so at this point, we're trying to redirect all free cash flows. We're expanding our banking system to integrate more of these key components. You will not do this stage without a wealth team, because you're going to have the right tax strategist, the right estate planners, the right life insurance guide. You're going to need certain people in your world to make sure you can not only get to this stage, but stay in this stage and move forward. This becomes a team approach here. And typically we start to see people thinking and using their system of whole life policies as its own separate business. So you run your business or your personal life with a profit and loss statement. You're going to look at your policies as kind of its own separate business. How much money is flowing in? What is the growth? How much more can we control? And this is about controlling more of the dollars flowing through our hands, which is all banks do and think about all day long. So we're starting to get into that banking mentality heavily here. And a visual representation of this is, why is it worth it to go to stage 3? That requires a team and a lot more effort, because you are going to keep a lot more money in your control. You're probably running tax dollars through here, certain insurances, more of your free cash flows. Having a seasoned system of policies, you can do certain things that you cannot do in stage 1 or stage 2 of whole life insurance ownership. And that brings us to stage 4. Once some of these things click in, and now you're really starting to understand the process of infinite banking or becoming your own banker. You'll probably go back and reread this book, and this book will have a completely different meaning to you. You're going to read things on the page that you said, I totally missed that the first 2 or 3 times I read it. But after you've owned whole life insurance for 5, 10 years, or 10 years plus like me, you're going to start looking at this as, how do I get every single dollar flowing through my hands into my system of policies? Now I'm incorporating my family into this conversation. I've got my stuff figured out, and I want to expand the system to bring my family into it. And this becomes now a very spiritual conversation. So when I think about the infinite banker, the stage 4, what does it mean to truly be doing infinite banking? I want as much self-reliance away from the broken commercial banking system. I want all that freedom, flexibility. I want the influence, the significance of my vision and my values attached to my money, and we have ultimate control of the money game at this point, and we can pass on this legacy, and not only the wealth, but the vision and values to the next generation, and this becomes a major part of your wealth preservation, multi-generational legacy, influence, and significance. And most of the time in this stage, not all of the time, but most of the time, you're going to see families building really large, dialed-in family banking businesses. Someone has to perform this function of banking in your life. Most of the time, we just let a commercial bank do it. And so there is a philosophical belief around infinite banking and controlling not only your values, but also the dollars to transfer to the next generation. And I absolutely believe we need more good people in this life, more stewards of wealth that are good, that we can transfer wealth to our kids and allow them to move into who they need to be as early in life as possible. And that, to me, is kind of what it means to truly be doing and implementing the infinite banking strategy. And obviously, if you want to look at it from a visual wealth building component, All it is, it just adds more control. For things that you are going to do anyways, this is why I think the infinite banking concept, it made such perfect sense to me, but I'll tell you, this stage of it is not for everyone. Not everyone will go to this stage of ownership. And if you're wondering about those key components of wealth building and how do I know if I have everything dialed in, we have wealth scorecards, systems, processes that you can go through to make sure that you can ask the right questions to your team members to make sure you've got everything dialed in. So remember, stewardship is always the path, and it's a major part of the infinite banking concept. So make sure you are choosing truth over trends, education over products, and people over profit.